Aloha and welcome to today's webinar presentation. My name is Chris. We're here at BYU-Hawaii and we are hosting today's webinar with Jeff in preparation for our Asia Pacific Career Conference, a 4-day conference held here at BYU-Hawaii designed to help students that are interested in employment in Asia Pacific to connect with employers with recruiting demand. Today, we're learning more about Dell from Jeff in Texas. Before we begin the presentation, let me introduce you to some of the aspects of our software. Those of you attending this live can see that you have the opportunity to participate in Q&A at the bottom. If you will click the Q&A button and submit questions, we'll try to respond to those now. You will also see that there is a way to raise your hand or interact in different ways if you would like to address something or have a question. For the most part, you will see that you cannot be heard or seen, but your way of communicating with the presenter is through the Q&A. Now that we're all familiar with the technology, let's begin our webinar. The time is now yours to share your presentation. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, so do I have a way to share my desktop, or I just talk through it?
Yeah, so at the bottom, there's a button, share, and then you can...
There we go. I was hidden. All right, there we go. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes, good.
All right, so we got about 30 minutes. Let me go to this next one. So I'm going to spend about 20 minutes just giving everyone an introduction into Dell technologies, and then at the end I'll leave some time for Q&A. If people want to have more time for Q&A, just let me know. So I'm going to start off first with what I do at Dell and what group I fit in with Dell. My group has a lot of team members in the Asia Pacific region, and so actually a majority of my coworkers are probably out there. I'm in the Dell client product group, which means my group supports everything that is touched by our enterprise customers. And so that includes Latitude laptops, Optiplex desktops, mobile precision laptops, and monitors and things like that. And so my organization that I belong to has about 180 team members in 19 countries, so we're worldwide. I am a senior principal engineer in the International Product Support Group. So obviously we're going to be a global operation. So we have here in the United States, of course, Europe, and throughout Asia. My specific role in the group is I'm more of a customer-facing role in that I work with customers directly. I spend a lot of time traveling and helping Dell's large enterprise customers with their technology needs. Some customers that I work with exclusive or extensively include Microsoft, Boeing, Intel, UPS, Puget Sound Energy, PG&E, and a whole host of other companies, including Pixar and Disney, animation studios, etc. So my peers, their role is as top-level support. So when there's issues that are reported with Dell client products, they go up through the support chain, and my peers would be the very top. My role is a little different in that I'm not product specific. A lot of our enterprise customers have very complex global operations, and so they get a lot of issues that are not product related. And so that's kind of the differentiator there. So I spend a lot of my time in particular helping our customers, our large enterprise customers, with deployments and imaging. And a lot of it is consulting them on how to deploy, manage, secure, and lock down images on their client products that go around the world. And so here you can see kind of how all of the pieces fit together. In my organization, this right here is 5-star ratings. I've never really talked to these people, but what these people will do is they're constantly polling and monitoring social media for positive and negative feedback on Dell product and experiences. And then they feed that back into marketing and engineering teams to help us improve our customer experience. Then we got component qualification, reliability testing. A lot of this is kind of like shock and vibe. They will have these machines, which we have in Austin, which will take a machine or a unit and drop it, or vibrate it, or put it in extreme cold and then quickly put it in extreme hot temperatures and see what the reaction is and make sure nothing breaks. I've been with Dell for 21 and a half years. 14 years of that was in this green piece here in product validation. My very first job at Dell was in this group, and my first role was JST, Japan System Test. I'm actually bilingual in English and Japanese, and that's one of the main reasons why I was hired at Dell. And so my role was to make sure we did the testing in the Japanese language, which was the discovery language for all the double byte character set languages in Asia. Supplier management, I don't deal with those much, and that's kind of self-explanatory. But we deal with a lot of suppliers around the world. So, batteries, for example, we will multi-source the same battery from various companies for price contention and competitive reasons, as well as just reliability issues. This here, international product support, is actually where I reside right now, as I mentioned. And so this is if you call into Dell support, and from an enterprise point of view, there's the front level support, and that's who you get first. And then if they can't resolve the issue, it goes to like a tier 2, tier 3, an L1, like a manager. Eventually, if it just can't be fixed, it goes all the way up into the top support, which is my group. And then customer engagement and excursion management. So I reside in the IPS group, but much of my activity is actually in this black piece right here. I get to be kind of a firefighter, if you will. So if a customer has a big issue that's blown up, that's gone to an executive escalation, or it's got, for various reasons, it's gathered extreme high visibility, they will drop me in, and it's my job to go in there and try to figure out what's going on and see what I can do to get the situation, the fire put out. And then quality product development planning. This is marketing, if you will. I deal with a lot of marketing people that are product planning. What's the next product going to be? I deal with customers directly, face to face, a lot. Travel a lot. I've engaged directly with a huge amount of corporations in the several of hundreds, and I get a chance to feed back into them and say, this is what delights our customers. This is what they really don't care about. This feature, if we moved it or eliminated it, it's not going to cause a lot of pain. But if you change this one, yeah, they're really going to have a lot of issues with that. So that's kind of an overview of the group that I belong to. It's the PG Client Quality Group. And there's actually huge amounts of opportunities in here. You can see some of these are technical and some of these are non-technical. And a lot of this work does happen in Asia. So let me continue on with there. Let's move into some actual opportunities or career stuff at Dell. So I created, or I kind of just consolidated some links that will help people see what opportunities are with Dell Technologies in Asia. I got the links here. The first link is why we work here. I've been here for 21 and a half years, and I'm extremely happy. I've had many opportunities to go to other companies. I've had 3 different times I've had offers from Microsoft in hand. And for various reasons, I decided to stay with Dell, and I have absolutely no regrets. I 100% believe I made the right choices in staying with Dell. And it can be a very stressful place, as technology is. It's extremely intense at times. If you have a customer that's friends with Michael Dell, and he's telling Michael Dell, we're going to drop this $20 million deal if this isn't resolved, it's very intense. It can be very stressful, but it's also very rewarding. And so I also put in here some locations of where Dell works in Asia. We have 2 main centers, well, 3, if you will, but the main centers are Taiwan Design Center, what we call TDC. I'm in the Austin Design Center, or ADC, and the CDC, China Design Center in Shanghai. The Singapore Design Center is more of our peripherals. So when you buy a Dell device and you want to buy a printer, Dell doesn't sell Dell branded printers anymore. So we sell like an Epson printer or Lexmark or whatever. Those types of things are run out of the Singapore Design Center, as well as monitors. So those are our design centers in Asia, but we have a huge amount of opportunities throughout Asia. In the Philippines, we have operations in Manila. I should add, in the Philippines, we have a lot of contract stuff, like in Cebu area as well. Some of my friends travel to Cebu to train the support people. So if you're in the United States and you have a problem with a Dell device and you call Dell support, from the consumer side, you may very well be talking to somebody that's in Philippines, in particular the Cebu area. Malaysia, we have 4 locations. Malaysia is one of the first areas in Asia that I got to work with. We used to have the factories in Penang, and I always enjoyed going to Penang. It was a great place to visit and do work. But anyway, so here are some countries, and this is by no means comprehensive. There's other opportunities in Asia and of course around the world. So how do you find out, or how do you connect with career opportunities? I just got you some obvious links here. Some Twitter, obviously, and Facebook has a good one. I put a link here. This one is just a YouTube video created by some friends of mine in the Singapore Design Center, and they talk about campus recruiting and mentoring programs. Dell has, and I'm a mentor, Dell has programs where new college hires get a mentor. And when you're onboarded into Dell, this person will help you navigate the myriad of things that you got to deal with when you come into Dell. Technology, very famous for acronyms. It takes you about 6 months of learning the Dell lingo when you first come into Dell. You're sitting in a meeting and they're throwing these acronyms around. You're like, what the heck does that mean? And so it's nice to have a mentor that can help you through some of those, basic things like that, as well as just adapt to the Dell culture. Dell is listed as, or is noted as, one of the most ethical companies to work for. And it's also one of the top companies to work for. I think we're also recognized as one of the top internship companies to work for. I've worked with many interns within my group. I'd say about half of them came back and were employed as full-time. That I'm aware of. Sometimes they will join other groups, but I've mentored several interns as interns, and then also mentored them as they get into Dell. Dell also has, in the Asia Pacific area, there's an English mentor. And so Dell has a program where people who are native English speakers can volunteer to spend about 1 hour a week with some of our counterparts in Asia, and helping them with the English, and oftentimes it's helping them with the Dell English. There's a lot of English that becomes kind of just unique to the Dell culture. It's kind of like in the Mormon culture, you have that as well. You got some lingo that's kind of unique and specific to that. Let's go back to careers. I've got student jobs, internships, and graduates jobs. You can go into these things. Let me see if I can just click one. See if it'll come up. Is everybody seeing this still? Yeah, you can see here. Here's some of the awards they've got for where they work. Here you got view all opportunities. This is very nicely broken down. So say you're from China, or you want to work in China, and here's the opportunities that are available in China. You're going to see a lot of Shanghai stuff because that's where our design center is. There's also a lot of opportunities to work with Dell's partners in Shanghai. Compal, Wistron, Asus, all of our partners are just a little bit west of Shanghai. And there's a lot of people I engage with, even though they're not Dell badge, say they're a Compal badge, but they're specific to Dell. They work with no customer of Compal except for Dell. And so there's actually some more opportunities there. You can see a lot of Shanghai stuff here. A lot of it is different jobs, technical jobs, obviously, in high demand. Yeah, but there's a lot of marketing, a lot of human resource, and other non-technical fields. And so there's just a lot of opportunities at Dell outside of the technology realm. And let me close that out. and then the internships and graduates. So that's kind of, I've ripped right through it. I think I've got about 15 minutes, so I went through that really quick. But that's just a very quick introduction into Dell and the opportunities at Dell for Asia Pacific. Any questions?
So, Jeff, I see that there's a lot of opportunity for technical and non-technical, sorry, and non-technical jobs. For those non-technical, what kind of skill set that you're looking for from our students?
So for the non-technical stuff, a lot of that is marketing, program management, human resources would be the ones that the top of my head. Obviously, very key to that is language, because Dell is a global company, and I deal with Dell clients and Dell customers around the world. So the unifying language is English. So having that bilingual ability is extremely beneficial for Dell. And so I would highly recommend those that are bilingual to pursue it, because there's a lot of opportunities to do. And so if you're not a product planning or a marketing person, you can still get into those fields as long as you've got, I would say, number one, language capability, so that you can communicate with external people to the region. And a lot of conversations, a lot of emails are going to be English. And then you got to respond in English. I'm on a lot of calls. I deal with some engineers that really don't speak English, so it's kind of, we sit there and you hear this Chinese in the background, and then somebody will come in and repeat it back to me in English. So it's not something that they can't work around, but it's very desirable. And then Dell's an ethical company, so they just expect people to be straight up honest and have integrity. I'm not micromanaged at all. They just generally, the culture is general, not micromanagement. They expect people to do the right thing when nobody's looking. So having that integrity is also very key. And then just doing what you say you would do, or what, if you said you will do something, just do it, and do it on time. And that's how you succeed.
Thank you. For your internship program, do you have any like time limit for internship students?
You mean like 6 months or something?
Yeah.
There's usually a time limit. In my group and the interns I've dealt with, it's been months, a few months. Usually they'll start in the spring and finish just before school starts in the fall in the United States. And they will be given an assignment. They will be given a project, and then there will be a mentor to help them get that project. And when they're done, they have to present that project to upper management.
Okay, so would you say it's about like 3 to 6 months for?
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. But they're all given, they're not just, like I say, we don't micromanage, but we also just don't throw people in the deep end of the water. So they are very careful for the internships, because it's totally new to them, and they're trying to figure out where all the relationships and everything connects. So that's why the mentor program.
Right. And that applies to all location or offices, right?
Oh yeah. So probably even more so in Asia, they have a stronger mentor program, in my opinion, perhaps.
Great. Thank you.
No.
No. Cool. You have any question for us, Jeff?
Is that it?
Yeah. Great. Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much for your presentation, and we're looking forward to see you in person in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Look forward to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
Great.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.